Did you know a game over can actually make you stronger, or that you can long rest outside of camp, or maybe you just like goofy, overpowered weapons? Well, then you're in the right place. But first, a quick warning that the first exploit in this video will contain spoilers. So let's go over how a game over can turn you into the most broken creature imaginable. In Act 2, after you found the Night Song, attempting to return to the mountain pass 3 times will cause you to get a cutscene turning your entire party into mind flayers and triggering an instant game over. But what would happen if you saved the game in this state? By pressing F5, surprisingly, the Quicksave button actually works. Next, we can load up our most recent save, and we now have full control over a party of mind flayers. Then we can use the waypoint system to fast travel out and continue the game. And the best part is, this is not just a visual bug. We actually have a full array of mind flayer abilities, much like the enemies that we fought throughout the game. Abilities such as fly and extract brain. You also get a fully unlocked tree of parasite abilities on each of your characters, and normally it's never possible to have a full party like this. From my limited testing, this effect does appear to be permanent and no character reacted to my new appearance. So it's pretty immersion breaking, but it does cause some cutscenes to be really hilarious. I'd never recommend anyone to do this for a first playthrough, but if you want to be insanely overpowered and have a chance to experience quite a unique playstyle, then I would say go for it. Your new spells are so overpowered that you'll be most likely one-shotting entire groups of enemies, and having a full team with fly makes exploration extremely easy. There's even some squid-on-squid romance scenes, but for romance beyond kissing, I'll leave that one for the speedrunners. The same quicksave glitch can also be used to avoid other game overs as well, as long as it's a scenario where your characters didn't actually die. I found that you can avoid Gale's game over situation by using this method, by saving and reloading after it occurs. The next exploit that we're going to look at today is one that I think most people would love to use because it's mainly just a time save. This exploit allows you to long rest outside of your camp, which means less loading screens and is overall just a good thing. To do this, all you have to do is position your camera so that the word yes on the long rest confirmation screen is on top of where your companion is standing. It's easiest to do that if you zoom in the camera. Next, spam click as fast as you can on top of the word yes and where your companion overlaps. That way, when the button fades away, you'll enter a conversation with that companion. Next, you just need to hit the leave conversation button, and you'll be able to long rest using the button in the bottom right as normal. But you get to do it where your party actually is instead of going to your camp. On screen now, I have a side-by-side of each method at double speed. We can see that the exploit finishes much earlier, mainly due to my long loading screens. This one may vary depending on your computer's speed, but in my case it was 13 seconds quicker than normal. Another thing to keep in mind about this exploit is that it will skip your camp dialogues for that day, meaning you probably don't want to do this on your first playthrough if you care a lot about the story. But still, there's been times where I've been playing where I just wanted to continue fighting right away, and I'm sure speedrunners are going to love this. This exploit also allows you to long rest in situations where leaving that area would normally fail a quest. I tested that here in front of True Soul Near. Normally leaving this area to do a long rest after speaking to him would cause him to die, but by using this exploit, you're able to long rest in front of him without him dying and you do not fail the quest. One final warning for this exploit is that I noticed when I rested on a day where the Dream Visitor was coming, it actually locked my game, but out of the other 100 times I tried this, it worked fine every time, so just be a little careful when you're using this. If you like big weapons, this next exploit is for you. Sometimes in the game, you're going to encounter ogres that carry gigantic weapons, and you can actually disarm those, but normally you cannot equip those items. However, if you take that item and you drag your currently equipped weapon over top of it in your inventory, then it'll switch places and you'll actually be able to equip it. It's quite funny to see it equipped, but it's also pretty useful, because high bludgeoning damage types are kind of rare in the early game. It's also nice to use when you're against undead targets or smashing open chests. It can even be dipped like other weapons in the game. There are also other weapons that this works with too. For example, further on into Act 1, you can encounter these minotaurs and steal their weapon, which has an insane 27 top end damage on a strength character, and it's pretty difficult to find weapons with higher than that, especially for Act 1. I've got one more exploit to look at today, even though the title only mentioned 3. And that's because this next exploit is really powerful and game-breaking, but I hate it. You can change the difficulty to Explorer, and then back to another difficulty level to fully heal your characters. But it also heals the enemies if you're in combat. But considering it's a full heal just for going through the menus, it's incredibly stupid. Anyways, that'll be all for today's video. If you learn anything new, be sure to leave a like, and subscribe for future content. I'm currently working on the next episode of Mythbusting, so stick around for that. Anyways, Proxy out.